Welcome everybody to Fresno City College's Fall Volunteer Fair. We're so excited to share all of these opportunities with our students and all of these awesome organizations that they can participate with. And we will jump right in with our first organization, which is, next slide. I believe it's Hines Hospice. So if Hines Hospice would like to speak.
Hello, I'm Sven Hamilton, Director of Volunteer Services. Thank you so much. Next slide. You can go to the next. So what is hospice? A lot of people don't know what hospice is, and it's not a place to go to die, contrary to popular belief. It's actually a piece of the healthcare continuum. It's end-of-life care, and it just focuses on keeping the patient comfortable and really giving them a better quality of life toward the end. And it's at a point where somebody has chosen to no longer seek curative treatment, or maybe they don't have any more options, or it could be old age. There's a lot of reasons why they're at end of life. But so just a quick little snapshot about what hospice is. But we take care of people, and they have a whole support system that's part of their care team. It's not just a doctor and a nurse. It's social worker, it's spiritual care, volunteer services, home health aid. So there's a whole team that rallies behind the patient and family to help them at end of life. Next slide. So Hines Hospice was actually founded by our founder, Nancy Hines. Back in 1981 is when it was officially established, where she actually cared for just a few patients in her own home. And her first patient was her husband, who she met as a missionary in Uganda. She was a nurse and he was a physician. And she took care of him when he became ill, and then moved to Fresno, which is where her father was. And that's where she established Hines Hospice over 40 years ago. And she was pivotal and influential in helping craft hospice legislation here in California and the rest of the country. Next slide, please. So today, going from just a few patients in our own home, we still are very local, Fresno, Madera, and Merced counties. We have around 200 employees and 200 volunteers, and we serve over 300 patients each day. Next slide. And we have a whole ton of programs, not just end of life care for adults. We actually have a pediatric program as well. So we take care of about 50 kids. We have a hospice home as well, where we can have 6 patients at a time. We have a palliative care program. We are really big on honoring veterans, so through vet-to-vet volunteers, as well as recognizing them through coin and certificate presentations. We also do prison hospice training in Chowchilla at the prison there that we've been doing for over 20 years. And we have a partnership with Hospice Africa in Uganda, of course, because that's a connection to Nancy, where she first started, part of her career. And then, of course, volunteer services. Next slide. So one of the unique things about Hines Hospice is our extensive Center for Grief and Healing, where we provide support not only to the families of hospice patients, but just to the community at large. So anybody that needs grief support, we can support you. And that's through a variety of ways, including one-on-one counseling services. We have a whole host of support groups based on the type of loss that you have, whether it's a spouse, a child, you've lost a baby. It depends on whatever type of loss. We have a support group specifically for the type of loss that you have had. We also have our Angel Babies program that supports parents who have lost a child before, during, and after birth. We have a support group specifically for kids who've lost a loved one, where we utilize volunteers 14 to 24 years old, and they get paired up with kids 4 to 12 years old in a group setting. And that's a really unique volunteer opportunity, one that's great for anybody that's interested in psychology, social work, education, healthcare, anything related to that. It's a great opportunity for volunteers to get involved. And actually, we're starting our fall cycle here pretty quick. And so if you're interested in that, please reach out. It's a really cool opportunity. We have a lot of volunteers who do it. It's a very popular volunteer program. Also, we have our Fresno Survivors of Suicide Loss program, which was actually a group outside of Hines Hospice, but we kind of took it under our wing when they were looking for a new home. And we provide QPR training, which is question, persuade, and refer. And that's basically suicide prevention training that we do anyone that needs it in Fresno County, whether it's a business, school, whoever would like that training, we're able to do that. And then we have support groups specifically for people who have lost a loved one by suicide. And then we have a contract with Fresno County for our loss response team. And so what that is when there is a loss, when somebody has died by suicide, first responders will call us, and a licensed or registered clinician and a volunteer who has had a loss of a loved one by suicide will meet, and then they drive together to the scene to provide immediate support to the family. Next slide, please. So we have a ton of volunteer opportunities. So we have something for everyone from, as you can kind of see, there's a ton of different ways to get involved with Hines Hospice. And I'll go through them really quickly individually. Next slide. So in our kind of patient care realm, we have volunteers who really take the time to sit with patients and provide companionship and respite breaks for the caregivers, which is really important. So this is great for anybody who's looking to develop their bedside manner, maybe people who are looking to go into healthcare, nursing, any, pre-med or anything like that in the future, working with patients and families. It's a great way to get experience, just being around different diagnoses, different family dynamics, all of that. We have our hospice home that also utilizes volunteers. They kind of really run the front of our house there, so that the clinical team can be in the back taking care of our patients. We have a dog visitor program. So if anybody has a really well-behaved dog, as long as they have cleared the Canine Good Citizens exam, they can go through our process to get evaluated and then visit patients, which is really important too, because a lot of them, as their disease progresses, they really lose connection. They're not able to have their furry friend when they go into a facility, or so bringing that joy back to them. And then, of course, as I mentioned earlier, we're huge on supporting veterans. So veteran volunteers that we pair up with our veteran patients. Next slide. So we also have 3 thrift stores: Chowchilla, Madera, and Clovis. Clovis is near Shaw and Mini Wawa, so not that, so it's pretty close to Fresno and a very popular thrift store, and that you can volunteer at. So anybody looking to go into business or retail management or anything like that, great way to get volunteer experience there. We have our Flower Power program where we partner with DNL Floral, and they donate flowers, and we have volunteers who help make arrangements, and then volunteers who help deliver them to our patients. Of course, anybody, again, who's looking to develop their administrative skills or in an office setting, we have opportunity for them to help with different departments administratively here at our office near Sean Van Ness. And then events, anybody interested in getting involved with fundraising, events, that sort of thing as well. Next slide, please. And then in our Center for Grief and Healing, there are several opportunities as well to assist with grief support, whether that's helping out with a support group, making bereavement calls. So anybody that's interested in psych, social work, anything like that, again, another great way to get experience, because there's a lot of different ways you can help with that. Our survivors of suicide loss that I talked about, the SOSL group. So assisting with support groups, community outreach, and peer support in support groups. That's a great way. There are some special requirements for that you've had, typically, just depending on the role that you're doing with that, there might be some special requirements with that. Like our loss team, for example, which kind of falls under our survivors of suicide loss group. You do have to be 21 years or over for that. And you do have to have lost a loved one by suicide in order to be a loss team volunteer. And we do prefer that volunteers for that program have had several years to kind of process that loss, because obviously that's a very traumatic loss. But once somebody's ready to help others who are going through that, it's a great way to give back as well. So, and then of course I talked about our circle of friends, which we have gearing up here for fall. So again, if you're interested in psych, social work, healthcare, education, anything related to that, or you're going to work with kids in the future, great way to get some experience. It's our children's bereavement support group, and our volunteers absolutely love it. It's a very popular volunteer program, and we are hosting a information night coming up pretty quick here later in I think September 6th. I should have the date on that. Anyways, reach out to us. Next slide. Please you can connect with us at 317-6016, or you can email us volunteer@hineshospice.org and let us know what you're interested in, or if you have questions about something, we can definitely answer that for you. But a lot of different opportunities to get involved depending on your interests. So thank you guys so much.
Thank you so much, Sven. That was such great information. Okay, let's move on to the next group. So the next group is Highway City Community Development. And
that's me. Hi, I will try to keep it short and sweet. My name is Kendra Stav Villarreal. I'm the Community Engagement Specialist at Highway City Community Development. If for anyone that doesn't know, that's the area that encompasses west of the Highway 99. That side of Fresno that's often referred to as like forgotten Fresno, even by some of our elected officials. It's about 55,000 people, but we have one doctor, a handful of grocery stores. I think we're getting down to one bank, not a lot of resources. So the vision for this organization and our resource center, which is right across the street from Teague Elementary on Polk, is to bring more resources to the community, including food access, health resources, help with immigration and social services, parent support. And so that's our goal. That's what we're looking for. And we're growing and expanding and trying to do that, having volunteer support throughout the community is very helpful. And so here our purpose, organization dedicated to improving the lives of residents in neglected neighborhoods in West Central Fresno. High poverty rates, limited access, and low mobility. You can go to the next slide. This map kind of gives a better example of the area that I'm referring to. The dark line triangle covers the area that I'm talking about, which is Highway City as a whole. Inside our community center, which is where a lot of our events are focused, is Fresno County Library branch. We have Centro La Familia, which offers immigration services, social services support. This is Central Unified, so they have a parent engagement support services in that building that help with a lot of different things. It can help parents with anything that they need in terms of their child's education and anything attached to Central. We also have we're getting like a telehealth unit set up on top of like regular monthly and annual health and vaccination clinics that we have at the center. And we do food distributions and emergency food support for families that need it. We also try to focus on giving a voice to residents. We have city council members, board of supervisors members, officials come into our center and have conversations, talk to everybody, see how we can bring their concerns up and how we can put that out and actually get the support that we need in our area and get what people are asking for. We also just have fun events sometimes. We just had like the Bubble Man come in and Ron the reptile guy come in and have events for kids in the summer. So there's something fun to do, since there's not a lot in the area. So these kids have something to look forward to, and they go to the library, they can check out books. The library puts on a lot of these events as well. If we go to the next slide, we can talk about the volunteer opportunities. So food distribution, we do a couple times a year. We try to do it when kids are out of school, when they're not going to have as much access to food on campus and other places. And so having support with that is always nice. We have high school kids that support, you can be an adult. You don't have to live in the area to even do this. Anyone that wants to come out and support, I don't have it on. I should have put our oh, I do have the volunteer form on the next one. Never mind. Neighborhood beautification. We are adding green spaces in. We've done tree plantings, cleaning up trash, just trying to make our area look better, more appealing. Community advocacy groups too. That's part of the bringing in community members to speak with elected officials. But we're also hoping to have more groups, more community groups. So if you live in this area and you want to get involved, especially younger voices, like we would love to have like a youth summit or a youth something where we can hear from people in the area and what your concerns are, what you want. We don't want to tell you what you need. We want to hear what you need and how we can make it better. We also have community events. We just had a back to school event where we gave out backpacks and school supplies to about 500 kids in Central Unified in that area. We have another one coming up in October, and then we do like a Santa's Village event in December. So support for those, helping with handing out resources, just general support, set up, tear down, anything like that is greatly appreciated. Like we can sign off on hours if you do need communities, hour support for things. And so if you have any other ideas, if you live in the area and you want to get involved, even if you don't live in the area or you know somebody that does, send them our way. We have lots of resources, and we're always happy to expand what we're doing and offer more that's benefiting the neighborhood and what people need. Last slide. Here it is. So I didn't have it in a QR code form. I apologize, but this is going to take you to the volunteer form. If you have any questions or if it's easier just to email me and let me know what you're interested in. This is my contact information, so I'm happy to be here if you have any questions. But aside from that, I think that I'm done.
Fantastic. That was really interesting information. And I love that you want people to, get in touch with you and give you their ideas. That's really, really cool. So
yeah, always. Thank you.
All right, we will move on to the next organization, CASA.
Hi, I'm Diane. I am the Marketing Outreach Coordinator for CASA. So CASA stands for Court Appointed Special Advocates, and we advocate for foster youth in Fresno and Madera counties. Next slide. Okay, so CASA's mission is we're a community-based organization, and our mission is to recruit, train, and support our volunteers to advocate and speak up for the abused and neglected children in the foster care system. CASA is currently nationwide, and we're growing faster and growing stronger. Next slide. So there's approximately 3,000 children in the dependency system in Fresno and Madera counties, and approximately 200 children are on the waiting list for a CASA advocate. Independent research has demonstrated that children with a CASA volunteer are substantially less likely to spend time in long-term foster care and less likely to re-enter care. Next slide. So do you need any special skills to be an advocate? There's no special background or education that is required to be a CASA volunteer. We encourage people from all cultures and professions and of all ethnic and educational backgrounds. Next slide. And then just hit it one more time. Okay, so what are the requirements to become a volunteer advocate? So you must be at least 21 years of age. There's an 18-month commitment of service to provide consistency for the foster youth. These children are seeing a constant revolving door, so we ask for that 18-month commitment for the consistency. Pass a background check, including a fingerprint scan, possess a valid driver's license, California, own or have access to reliable transportation with car insurance, application, and include 3 references. We want to get to know you and have people who know you kind of give us a little background about you, interview with the program supervisors, and then complete the 40-hour Advocate Academy training. Next slide. So who are the individuals involved in the lives of the children in foster care? So as you can see in the circle, there's the volunteer, which is the advocate, and then the foster youth. There's people outside the circle. So there's the judge, the social worker, there's other providers, therapists, the list can go on. These people are actually the constant revolving door in the foster youth's life. There's been multiple times where we've had a case where a foster youth has had 2 different judges because of staff change, 3 different social workers, different care providers, and that's maybe from changing of homes and areas and things like that. So it has been said that our volunteers, our advocates are going to know more about our foster youth than the people outside the circle right here. Next slide. So what are some of the challenges that our foster youth face? I'm sure a lot of you guys can guess. It's the changing of homes, the changing schools, changing social workers, loss of biological family, unaddressed basic needs, behavioral challenges, mental health concerns, developmental delays, and lack of natural support. So on the left side are what actually happens. On the right are the feelings. So the instability, the isolation, the lack of trust, the insecurity, the fear, the broken parental bonds, powerlessness, shame, and feeling unheard. Next slide. So what happens if we don't help? This can lead to undereducation, unemployment, poverty, homelessness, incarceration, mental illness, substance abuse, and even human trafficking. Next slide. So this is kind of like the fun, and you see, so we talked about kind of like the downside, but these are the fun parts when an advocate comes into play. It says you're able to see the hope, your actions matter. They become the voice. They are the voice that matters to our foster youth. Next slide. Okay, so I think it gave me like, I had edited the slide to only do a specific number of slides. So I think that it might have given you the whole thing. So you can just skip this next one. Okay, so how to support CASA. So hosting an info session in the place of a business. So if you know of anyone or you're interested in learning more, just contact me. My email will be in the further slides. But volunteering at ongoing events, we have an upcoming crab feed on Friday, September 8th. And it's just an event for us to bring in donations, to bring awareness to our foster youth, to gather people together and talk about why CASA is here and what we do for our community, become a sponsor, and then of course donations as well. Next slide. So to make a difference in a child's life, you don't have to be brilliant, rich, beautiful, or perfect. You just have to care enough to be there. Next slide. And so here's a couple of information. There's a little bit of my info. So you have the cell phone number. I also have a QR code that is linked to our link tree that you're able to follow us. If you're learning or if you're interested in becoming an advocate, this will direct you there. If you're interested in becoming a volunteer, it'll direct you there as well. We also have a podcast that we have just created where we interview past foster youth, current advocates, and then people on our board. And we talk about a bunch of different things and just the life of a foster youth and how CASA helps. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Diane. And if any of you do have events that you are coming up and you share the PDF with me, I'd be happy to attach them to this recording to go out to our students. Okay, next one, Ronald McDonald House Charities of the Central Valley.
Yes, hi, good morning. My name is Melvis Mendoza. I am the volunteer coordinator and meal planner at the Ronald McDonald House. And it is a pleasure to be here with you today. So what is the Ronald McDonald House? What do we do? So we serve those families that have their children at Valley Children's Hospital in critical conditions. We are serving families from that have their children in ICU, either PICU or NICU. And they get to stay at the Ronald McDonald House for as long as they need to. We don't have a limit on time. We are open 24/7. We always have a staff member in the house willing to help. We also work holidays. So some of the families don't get to go home on Thanksgiving, Christmas, or New Year's. And we are also here with them to support them. We offer them meals. We offer them a room where they can stay. We offer them Wi-Fi, and everything is completely at no cost for these families. We are located at 9161 Randall Way in Madera. We're right behind the Valley Children's Hospital parking lot. So next slide, please. Volunteers in action. So it doesn't matter where you come from, what you do, whether or not you speak English or not. We have volunteers that don't speak English, and we have staff that speak Spanish. Myself, I speak Spanish, and I'm able to work with different volunteers from different backgrounds. We also have high school students volunteering with us. We have retired teachers. We have single moms, young college students volunteering with us. So volunteers are very helpful in the house. We offer As I said, we offer meals for the families. So that's one of our biggest programs. We have volunteers that come in and cook, and they get to share with the families. We have volunteers that help us put together packets that the families will need to fill out in order to apply to stay at the house. We have volunteers helping us with the front desk, opening the door for the families, just greeting the families. This might seem like it's nothing big, but for the families to see a different face every day, it makes their day, especially when they're dealing with their child being at the hospital in critical condition, and just coming to the house and seeing a smiling face or someone different at the house. It really makes their day, believe it or not. Next slide, please. So how can you help? So like I said, we have the front desk volunteer opportunity. So front desk volunteers help with paperwork, greeting the families, operating, operating the cameras, helping with the families, providing them with drinks, guiding the families around the house, showing them where like the dryers, washers are at, showing them where the kitchen is, how things work around the house. And we train our volunteers to know where all of this is at. So the volunteers become very familiarized with the house, and that's how they're able to help our families that stay at the house. We also have the Meals from the Heart program. That is a big one. For this one, you could gather a group of friends. It could be a club, a church group, and we usually require 8 to 9 volunteers to come in, and they would come in to prepare either breakfast, lunch, or dinner. And this helps tremendously for the families because they're able to eat at the house and not having to spend money outside or at the hospital. Some of these families come from low income communities, and having a baby at the hospital and not knowing how long you're going to be there, it really puts them at a limit with their income. So having a meal at the house really, really helps out. And having volunteers come in to cook meals is a blessing for them. So if you have a group of volunteers, if you have a group of friends, if you are part of a club or even a church group and you would like to come in to prepare a meal for the families, we will be very grateful. We also have a golf tournament coming up in October, and we will need lots of help for that event. It'll take place on Sunday, October 22nd. That's when we start setting up. And October 23rd is when the actual golf tournament will be. If you are interested in participating in this event, I will be sharing my contact information in the next slide. So please feel free to contact me for any questions regarding this event. As you can see in the picture, we also have volunteers that come and do haircuts for the families for free. Any talent that you have and you think that could be useful for these families, our mission is to provide a home away from home. So any talent that you think you may have that will be useful in helping the families feeling at home, please reach out to me and we'll find something for you to do at the house. And we're always very grateful for all your help. We are very appreciative of our volunteers. We throw you a party. So we have a volunteer gathering. We try to have a volunteer of the month, and we have a little gathering for our volunteers as well. We have the Red Heart Ball coming up in February of next year, and this is a big dance and dining and diner that we have in February. So if you would like to be a part of that, I could also send you more information regarding that event. Next slide, please. So thank you for your time. You could follow us on social media, see what we're doing. So we have Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn. So follow us in all of those and you'll be able to see what we're doing in the house, how we're helping the families that have their children at Valley Children's Hospital, and to see more volunteer opportunities as well. I also share my contact information on there. Please feel free to reach me at any time, any day, and I'll be more than happy to help you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Melvis. It was a lot of great information. I really do think that the Ronald McDonald House does really pivotal stuff, allowing a family to stay near their child that's in the hospital. It's really cool.
Thank you.
So you're welcome. So next up is Fresno Economic Opportunities Commission.
Hi, this is Raquel Padilla, and I am with the Fresno EOC Generation Serving Together Fresno. This is a new initiative. This is a new program that's happening. It's only been up for about a year, and we recently got more funding for this year, so it's going to run for another year. Generation Serving Together Fresno is a groundbreaking initiative that aims to foster meaningful connections and also address mental health and social isolation among different age groups. So what it is, it's a co-generational initiative. We bring older and younger volunteers together as a co-generational team. The team will provide workshops on emotional literacy, helping children, youth, and young adults identify their feelings and develop effective coping skills. The curriculum that we use is based off of Brene Brown's Atlas of the Heart book. There are 87 emotions that are in the book that the volunteers come together as a team and they create lesson plans. So if you're interested in working with older adults and you're interested in the mental health field as well, social work, anything like that, this is a great opportunity for you. It really focuses on building connections with one another, with your community, and then also taking action on social isolation. And then also providing those mental wellness skills to either the children, youth, or young adults. Next slide, please. And then there are sites that you will serve. This is just a picture of the Youth Build Charter School with the young volunteer and the older volunteer. Right now, we have the Clovis Boys and Girls Club, the Fresno EOC Local Conservation Corps Youth Build Charter School. The sites that are in the work, so I am in communication with them, which is the Juvenile Justice Club, Marjorie Mason, Golden State Family Services, which is a foster care agency, Fresno EOC Employment and Training, the Troy Center, and the Fresno EOC LGBTQ plus Resource Center. Again, you guys, this is gonna allow you to gain that experience in creating lesson plans. Again, like if you're in the mental health field, if you are in social work, anything like that, or even I forgot what the major is called. I'm sorry. This is gonna allow you to gain that experience, and then also working with another vulnerable population, which is with older adults. And this will give you a new insight on how you think about seniors. Next slide, please. The requirements and benefits. Right now, as a Fresno EOC, they do require COVID vaccination, whether it's their volunteers, their interns, and their employees. So that is a requirement as of right now. A valid ID, driver's license, car insurance, and a background checking. But some of the benefits are also obviously what you will be doing for yourself and for others, and gaining that experience and helping others create those effective coping skills, whether with their mental health. We also do offer, we know it's a hard time right now, so we do offer mileage reimbursement, from your home to the site and back. Both my supervisor, we've been thinking about gift cards to be given to you as well, a celebration of gratitude for you at the end of the grant year. And then also, again, you learn how to make meaningful connections with communities. you'll learn to have those connections with the older adults, also the younger adults as well, and then whatever place your site is at. So for example, you have your team, the co-generational team. So whether it's a younger adult, older adult, you come together as a team, you create lesson plans and activities, and you will go to that site, whether it be Marjorie Mason, whether it be Golden State Family Services, and you provide those lesson plans to the children, youth, or young adults. And it was a very I don't think I have another slide, but it was a good year, and this program is literally starting from the bottom and going up. So you will also be part of that, as well as building this program and what it can hold for the future. I don't think I put my information on there, which I should have. Heather, I don't know if you can write it in the comments or if I can, but my email is raquel.padilla@fresnoeoc.org. And my number is 559-263-8932 as well. Again, get in contact with me. You can email me or you can call me. Yeah, thank you so much.
I'm happy to add an additional slide that has that information for you.
Thank you, Heather.
Not at all. Okay, and thank you so much for all of that great information. So we are moving on to St. Agnes Hospice. Brandon Miller was unable to be here today, so I am going to read these slides. So whenever you're ready, Virginia. Okay. So volunteers are needed for hospice patients for St. Agnes Home Health and Hospice. Next slide, please. What is hospice? Hospice is a covered medical benefit under Medicare that helps patients with a terminal diagnosis. Hospice serves those who have been given a life expectancy of 6 months or less by a physician. It allows people to pass away comfortably in their own residence via the use of comfort medications, as opposed to being in a hospital or continuing painful treatments such as radiation, chemo, etc. Next slide. How does hospice work? After a patient is certified, they receive visits from multiple hospice disciplines. They have weekly visits from nurses who continually assess their pain and make sure it is controlled with medication. They have monthly visits from social workers who make sure their end-of-life arrangements are set, which includes funeral arrangements. Next slide. What do hospice volunteers do? Volunteers provide companionship and respite. Patients sometimes don't have family in town, and a volunteer sitting with them for a few hours and reading or watching TV with them can make a positive difference in their final months of life. Volunteers can also do things such as make the patient lunch or go grocery shopping for them. Next slide. What do hospice volunteers do continued? In addition to keeping a patient company for a few hours, they also provide a huge help to the patient's family. Volunteers simply being there can give the family members a chance to leave their home without worrying for their loved one and that their loved one is alone. Family members will often use this time to grocery shop or simply go to an appointment of their own. How to become a volunteer? So you're going to reach out to Brandon Miller, not me, and I will provide you with an application to fill out. After the application is completed, we will conduct a background check. So there will be a two-step TB test and a flu shot paid for by us, and they also need to verify vaccine status. And after this is complete, you will complete an orientation in our office and be ready to make a difference in the lives of our patients. Next slide. Volunteers can see patients around their own schedule. Typically, it's 1 time a week for 3 hours or less. We request a minimum of volunteering for 1 year with us if possible. If you'd like to volunteer for us and make a difference in the lives of patients, contact Brandon Miller. And it gives his email and his phone number and also the address of their office. And I would say that St. Agnes Home Hospice, my grandmother used it, and it was really pivotal. They would come in a couple of times a month so that I could run errands while my grandmother was very ill. And it was really, really nice and wonderful. So anybody who volunteers to do that, they're just awesome. Okay, we will move on to the next group. So SPCA, Linda.
Hi, my name is Linda Stoling, and I am the Volunteer and Education Services Manager for the Central California SPCA. Next slide. We are a nonprofit organization. We don't receive any government monies, so we are supported by donations, grants, and fundraising. And in the last couple of years, we average caring for about 21,000 animals a year. Our mission includes protection, placement, and education about animal issues. We happen to be an open door surrender shelter. That means when people do have to surrender their animals due to being unable to care for them, we will not turn away any animal, no matter how dangerous, how old, how sick, how ugly, how cute. We will take them all. We take in pets. We take in barn animals that are part of humane investigations, and we accept wildlife. We don't keep the wildlife, but we will accept wildlife as kind of a go-between to the local wildlife rescue. Next slide. We offer a wide variety of services. I'm not going to read this whole list. You can go ahead and read that on your own, but please know that there are animal care services, there are education services, and then there are pet services that we offer to the community, including low-cost vaccine clinics, low-cost spaying and neutering, microchipping, a number of things like that. Next slide. Now, we take volunteers ages 8 and up. I'm specifically talking about the adult opportunities right now. We do not require any special skills. If you want to help us, we'll find a way for you to help us. We love getting Spanish speakers for all the events we go to. You'll have flexible self-scheduling. We are open 7 days a week. We have to care for the animals all the time. We have a lot of policies, so you have to adhere to our policies, which we will teach you. A lot of them, all of them have to do with your safety and the animal's safety. We have a dress code, long pants. We require that you purchase a volunteer t-shirt and wear closed-toed shoes. A wide range of ways you can assist us. Next slide. Our adoptions building with animal care. As you can see, we'll do a lot of cleaning. We clean before we play. There are not a lot of jobs where you just get to play with the animals. It's mostly we're scooping poop and we're cleaning up and we're washing dishes and we're providing food and care, basic walking, making sure they get water. Next slide. We have exotic animals. They range every day, different. Right now we have some rabbits and gerbils and I think a few hamsters. In the past, we've had turtles and snakes, and we've had peacock and a boa constrictor, a chinchilla. You never can tell what's going to end up here at the SPCA. Next slide. We have a cat room. So caring for the cats is something that is very important. Next slide. We have not only for caring for the dogs and puppies, but we do need dog walkers. Right now, we particularly need big dog walkers. We need volunteers that are strong and confident with the very big dogs, the shepherds, the huskies, the pit bulls. A lot of our animals that come into us don't have a whole lot of experience on a leash, so we need people who can maintain control of the animals, but still get them out walking around our grounds, get them some time out in the fresh air. Next slide. Facilities and maintenance. If you sign up for that, you could be doing any number of things. You could be cleaning and washing windows and sweeping. You could be helping to construct dog houses, special projects. The group at the bottom was a college group that came out to help us clear out some paddocks because we have some new horses coming in and we had a few paddocks that hadn't been occupied for a number of months. So as you can see, they did a lot of weeding that day. Next slide. Office assistant. We do need help doing office type work. It can be traditional office work, computer work, phone calls. It could be decorating, setting up for events. But when we say office work, that could also include cleaning bathrooms and kitchen that are adjacent to any of the office areas. Next slide. We have a lot of children's programs, ages 8 and up. We need volunteers for our children's program, and you can see we do a wide range of things there, including running summer camps, children's contests, bookmark design contests we do every year. And our children's programs, other than camp is paid for to help pay for additional insurance, but all the other children's programs, there is no cost to the public for their kids to participate. Next slide. We have youth programs. We take teenagers as volunteers. The only caveat is anyone under 18 doesn't actually get to handle the animals, but they get to work around them and for them and help with all of our activities. Next slide. Lots of special events. We have a large golf tournament in April as a fundraiser. We go to big events like the fair and home shows, where we have our adoption trailer you see there out at River Park a couple of times a month. So we need help with lots of special events. Next slide. We do have a wide range of things that can be done at home and virtually if needed. I'm not going to go into details right now. Next slide. We have a lot of college opportunities. If you have classes that require projects, we can help you with those as well. Next slide. And what happens next? If you want to volunteer, you fill out an application on our website. You'll attend an orientation. They're usually by Zoom. There's some forms to complete. You'll attend that orientation. Then you'll have access to your own scheduling calendar. And you'll be able to pick and choose the shifts that you work and what you do. Occasionally you might meet with a volunteer manager depending on what you're working on. All your hours are monitored in our online system, so it's easy for you to keep track for job applications and scholarships. Next slide. And this is the final slide. This is all the ways to stay connected with us. The information at the bottom is how to reach me as the volunteer manager. We love volunteers. As I said, if you want to help, we'll find a way for you to help us and to help the animals of the Central Valley. Thank you very much for your time today.
Thank you so much, Linda. I love this. 2 of my 3 animals were adopted from y'all. So good stuff. Okay, so our next organization is Hands On Central California. All right, go ahead and go on to the next slide, Virginia. So Hands On Central California, go on to the next slide. So they provided us with a volunteer opportunity calendar. This one is an older one. I believe it's online. Go on to the next slide. And that's it. So this is their information, and I guess they didn't come. So I will edit this, I believe. So this is their office and their phone number, and they are at handsoncentralcalifornia.org. Elba Schreier is their contact, and Jerry Sales as well. Okay, we'll move on to the next. So Habitat for Humanity.
Hi, everyone. My name is Selena. I am the Volunteer Engagement Coordinator here at Habitat for Humanity Greater Fresno area, and super excited to be sharing all of our volunteer opportunities with you. I do always like to start with our mission and vision. You can go to the next slide, please. So Habitat's mission seeks to put God's love into action by bringing people together to build homes, communities, and hope. We are an ecumenical Christian organization. It's just a super fancy way to say that everybody has a seat at our table. Regardless of your background, absolutely everybody is welcome to get involved however you can, whether that means volunteering, and we'll go over all of those opportunities, or even applying for our home ownership program. Everybody is welcome to get involved how you can. And then our vision statement, a world where everyone has a decent place to live. You can head to the next slide, please. A decent place to live doesn't always necessarily mean that it has to be a new home. We also have restoration and rehabilitation of older homes. We have programs that do that because families may love their house already, just needs a little bit of a facelift, and that gives them a decent place to live again. So Why does Habitat build? Fresno does rank second in the nation for cities with the highest rates of extreme poverty. In addition, Fresno also has the poorest zip code in the nation. So it makes the work that we do all that more important because safe, decent, and affordable home ownership leads to so many incredibly positive outcomes. We really are trying to create generational wealth. We're really trying to bring communities out of poverty and really trying to provide homeownership opportunities to families that might otherwise not have those opportunities. Next slide, please. So for those families or individuals that are applying for our homeownership program, we do build homes in partnership with families. So that means a huge misconception about Habitat is that we actually give homes away for free. What actually happens is we partner with families and we make sure that they have an ability to pay. So they do take over the mortgage, all the bills, that sort of thing. So it isn't a home that's given away for free, but we do make sure that they have the ability to pay. There's a demonstrated need and that they're able to put in 500 hours of sweat equity, which is literally them swinging a hammer or painting their own walls, really giving them that sense of home ownership, how to take care of it, how to build it so that they're excited to walk through that front door when everything's ready. Next slide, please. Oh, perfect. Thank you. So some of our current projects in terms of the actual build site where we would love to have volunteers help. Being on the build site is on Saturdays once projects get started. And it's really fun to be on site. Don't worry if you have no experience in construction at all. I promise I didn't either when I started. There are always demonstrations of what to do. There's always plenty of staff that is making sure that everybody is safe, and we have all of that equipment for you. So we would absolutely love to have volunteers out at our job sites. These are some of our current projects. We're so excited to announce that our Riverdale homes will be completed this month, which means that we're going to have some families moving into their new, wonderful, affordable, amazing homes, and we're so excited about that. Like I said, we do have preservation and rehabilitation programs for homes as well, and the restore is always a possibility for volunteering as well. Next slide, please. So that does lead us to our restore. Sometimes people see the restore and don't understand the association. The restore does help to fund all of our build projects and future projects upcoming. So it's just part of the larger mission. The restore isn't the mission, is kind of what we say. It's just part of the larger mission. It is a thrift. And kind of different from other thrift. We do try to take mostly building materials, residential and commercial. You can find all kinds of amazing things there, anything from doors to brackets to new paint. So really incredible operation. The restore actually doesn't run without volunteers. We only have 3 to 4 full-time staff at the restore that's open Monday through Saturday. So it doesn't run without volunteers. So another really great opportunity there, and we'd love to have as many people there as possible, again, just to help further the mission. Next slide, please. Oh, I love this slide. So that is actually Brianna. She was with us for 2 years from Fresno City Federal Work Study Program. So if anybody qualifies for that, please keep us in mind. But we do have lots of other areas of engagement in addition to the restore and the build sites. We do always need that admin support for the different departments. So family services, our marketing and outreach, obviously the volunteer department. We always do need all that admin support as well. If there is a specific skill that you think that you have that you could contribute, please get in touch. I always love to hear people coming up with creative ways to help our families and to get some volunteer hours. So would love to hear your own ideas as well. Next slide, please. So this is just a little bit of information about how to sign up. We do require that you have a waiver filled out and an account created, and then you're able to go in and sign yourself up for the shifts that you can make. So anything from the Restore will be on there. Once our projects, our build sites do start back up this fall in Fresno, all of those volunteer opportunities will be available on our website. So you just sign up on your own for the times and projects that you are available for. And then the last slide is just all of my contact information. And again, my name is Selena. I'm the volunteer engagement coordinator, and I'm so excited to connect with all of you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Selena. That was such great information. And my son is an Eagle Scout, and he has volunteered quite a bit of hours for Habitat for Humanity. It's a great organization. Okay, we are going to move on to the Poverello House, who also were unable to attend today, so I will go ahead and read their slides. So Sierra Beninga is their community engagement coordinator. She is the one that you will contact for your volunteer opportunities. Next slide, please. So how to support and rethink the homeless experience. In order for us to succeed in society, we require basic necessities. But more than that, we need a support system. Barriers are put in place that prevent our homeless population from receiving even the bare minimum of support. Lack of resources and opportunities prevent them from gaining jobs, housing, etc. The stigma against those experiencing homelessness does not allow them to prosper when regaining access to societal norms. So the needs of a human are psychological, our basic needs being food, water, rest, and warmth, or shelter, safety, security, and non-threatening environments, belongingness and love, relationships, and esteem, and self-actualization. Poverello House provides resources that start with basic needs, such as food and water, and end in sheltering and housing job development. Next slide, please. So this is the mission of the Poverello House. Essentially, they believe that, you know, everybody deserves to be treated with dignity and respect, and those that require, certain resources those resources should be provided, and they should also be given community support, and it's equal opportunity without regard to race, color, religion, nationality, gender, sexual orientation, age, or disability. Any individuals that are in need of services, a place to stay during the day, or just a meal will be provided these resources. Next slide. So Papa Mike was the founder of the Poverello House in 1973. After Mike McGavin was inspired by Father Simon, a priest, he volunteered with Poverello Coffee Shop in San Francisco. After moving to Fresno, Mike and Mary, his wife, would pass sandwiches and water out to the homeless community. Then Papa Mike opened a storefront that he utilized as a soup kitchen. In 1992, the 412 F Street campus was created, and their services have expanded greatly. Next slide, please. So this is a low barrier shelter. So they minimize barriers such as waiting lists, eligibility requirements, and physical or mental characteristics that can stand in the way of people getting their needs met. Low barrier service follow the harm reduction philosophy. Low barrier shelters provide a space where clients that are under the influence can be safe and in a controlled environment. And during the hours of 7 a.m. to 5 p.m., Poverello House is open weekly to the Fresno community. Any and all people are welcome. No questions asked. Next slide. So the client services that they offer are meals. So there are 360 meals served 365 days a year. Men's residential rehabilitation program, the MAP Point, that's the multi-agency access program that connects individuals to housing. The outreach program for teams of 4 staff members. They go out into the community and build rapport with individuals under the freeways, on canals, on the streets, and they connect them with the proper resources, providing basic needs. The Village of Hope, which is a co-ed shelter. There are 3 case managers assigned to the clients upon intake. And Naomi's House. This is only for single women sheltered in Fresno. 2 case managers are assigned to this, and it is a capacity of 30 women. And there's an enrichment center that's for mental health development. Sheltered and unsheltered clients can utilize this program. And they also have shower and laundry service for sheltered and unsheltered clients, clothing and blanket distribution, and mail service. Next slide. So volunteer opportunities. We provide a safe and tangible way to assist those in need. We have opportunities for those who want direct services or those who would like to be behind the scenes. We have kitchen and meal prep and service, breakfast, lunch, and dinner every single day, warehouse sorting and kit assembling, clothing distribution, organization, organizing and assembling of food bags and hygiene kits and bedrolls. The warehouse and kitchen are flexible positions that have minimal client interaction. Next slide. Special events. So they have a Papa Mike's Cafe. It requires staff and volunteers to serve the clients, and it is a restaurant style. Enrichment classes, skilled volunteers that have special interests or hobby, such as gardening and maybe working in the library, I can see. So the library sorting books, distributing them to clients, landscaping and cleanup days, 15 volunteers to beautify our campus, client-based services that will require one-on-one interactions as well. Next slide. Okay, and now we are on to our very next organization, that is the Bulldog Pantry.
Good morning. Thank you. My name is Erica Bird. I am the Bulldog Pantry Coordinator. We are located right across the street from Fresno State. So we are not part of the Fresno State campus, nor are we directly supported by Fresno State. We are a food pantry that has been around for almost 16 years now. And we are a completely student and young person volunteer run food pantry that serves anybody in need in the community. So anybody who wants to come and volunteer and help us out, since we're a completely volunteer organization, we are very happy to have you. Our contact information, email is the best way to reach us, but also phone will definitely work, and all our social media is there. Next slide. So our volunteer opportunities are many because there is no paid staff at the Bulldog Pantry. So everything from putting out the food to unloading the food, to sorting the food, to fundraising, to advertising, to doing social media, all of those things are handled by volunteers. So while most of our volunteers, excuse me, most of our volunteers do help us with setting up for our distributions. On the Friday before, our distributions are normally 2 Saturdays a month in the morning from 9 until 10:30 or 11. And the other big time that our volunteers help us out is at those distributions. It takes something like 35 volunteers to hand out food on a Saturday morning when we're open. And those are probably the easiest for anybody to come and join us. We take all ages of volunteers, and we make it very simple for you to help on those days and times. If you want to be involved in some other ways, maybe behind the scenes, you have gifts of social media expertise or websites or any of those other fundraising, any of those other things, feel free to get a hold of us. We also love those kind of volunteers, and those positions can be more the virtual type. But of course, if you're handing out food, that's going to be an in-person opportunity. Next slide. So as I had just mentioned, the Friday afternoons before is typically when we get all our food in, and we're doing the setup and organizing of the fresh food bagging for families and that kind of thing. And then the Saturday mornings are our distribution. Right now we're in the process of finalizing our fall schedule, so that will be posted by the end of the week on our website and social media for your reference, because we're only open the 2 Saturdays a month. Next slide, please. Normally, those Saturdays are the second and fourth Saturdays of the month, but of course, in November and December, there are a lot of holidays in there, and so we kind of work around student schedules and the holidays a little bit with that, so that we can keep our volunteers coming in the door to allow us to help our neighbors. Right now, we're averaging servicing about 175 to 200 families twice a month when we're open. And if you have any questions or need any more information, just curious about us, feel free to contact us. Look at our social media, look at our website. Those are all great ways to reach out to us. We are not just for Fresno State students. We're happy to have anybody who wants to help us out in the community, and anybody in need also can come, and we're another resource for anybody who needs food assistance as well. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Erica. I love that, that it's available to everybody. That's really, really neat. And I didn't know that. Okay, next up, we have Fresno County Probation Department.
Hello. Hi, this is Kahar. I'm a program technician for the personnel unit for the probation department. I want to welcome you all to the, go to the next, previous slide. I want to welcome you all to the Fresno County Probation Department. The Fresno County Probation Department has 655 allocated positions. Next slide. The Fresno County Probation Department is an active member of the criminal justice system and serves the people in courts in the Fresno County. Deputy probation officers supervise just under 15,000 adult and juvenile offenders who are on court-ordered probation, AB 109 realignment, or are in other diversion programs. The James Rowland Crime Victim Assistance Center, CVAC, is part of the probation department, serving over 7,000 crime victims and witnesses annually. CVAC also provides direct services and referrals to victims and witnesses of crime. Next slide. There are 6 divisions within the department. There's the Administrative Services, the Adult Probation Services, Juvenile Justice Campus, which has the institutions, the Juvenile Probation Services, the Personnel Development and Research Division, and the Realignment Division. Please visit the Fresno County website to learn more about the Fresno County Probation Department. Next slide. These are some of the jobs. These are some of the job classifications within the probation department. The juvenile correctional officers are defined as peace officers. They provide direct supervision, counseling, and transportation to youth detained or committed to the juvenile justice campus. They supervise youth on site or in the community and perform control room activities and functions. The probation technicians, they perform non-peace officer support services for probation department professional staff, conduct evaluative, interpretive, and advisory services for adult and youth offenders, and perform related work as required. The victim witness advocates, they are part of the CVAC program. They provide support services to victims, family members, and witnesses participating in the Victim Witness Assistance Program. Victim witness advocates advise participants of program services and outreach activities. They refer program participants to professional care providers and explain the process of the criminal justice system. And they also accompany victims, family members, and witnesses to court and related hearings and assist participants with claim applications. Our deputy probation officers are defined as peace officers and are responsible for investigating and monitoring the activities of offenders and producing sentencing reports and recommendations for the courts. They may be assigned to schools, diversionary programs, and specialized units with other police agencies. Next slide. The Fresno County Probation Department also offers volunteer opportunities. The Probation Department is contracted with multiple agencies such as Focus Forward, SIRI, and Ministry Group, and other agencies. Visit the Probation Department's county website to fill out an application and drop it off at the Probation Personnel Office, or you can call our office at 559-600-4825 for more information. Included in this slide is the website and link that will direct you to the Fresno County Employment Services website, where it will list all the job current recruitments within the County of Fresno. As a condition of employment with the Probation Department, all applicants to our department must undergo a background process, which may include a polygraph examination, background investigation, and a medical and psychological examination. Thank you.
Thank you, Koth. That was awesome. Okay, so next up is EPU.
Thank you, Heather. Hi, everyone. My name is Carrie Ann. I'm going to be talking a little bit about EPU today. I am a volunteer coordinator here, and I am definitely happy to be here talking to everybody today. Thank you so much. Next slide. We're going to definitely start off with our EPU mission statement. EPU guides and strengthens children and families with unique needs through early intervention and supportive resources that cultivate hope and resilience. And I think that that last line there is extremely important when you're talking about EPU, because the whole idea of EPU and what it was founded is about hope and resilience here, to make sure that our families are going off into the communities after leaving us here in their time with us and finding that resilience and that hope. Next slide. So just a little bit of a history on EPU. We were founded in 1978 by Miriam Carrion, and she worked at Valley Medical Center in Fresno. She was a nurse there, and she actually was first to create a support group for parents with children that had Down syndrome. And after kind of starting that group, they decided that the name was going to be Exceptional Parents Unlimited, and it was chosen because EPU wanted to provide services for parents and children with all kinds of special needs. Next slide. And going into that, that's exactly what we do here at EPU. We provide parenting services, early childhood intervention services. We have a baby clinic that works directly with CVRC to do assessments for children. So there's all sorts of wonderful things that we do here at EPU, and I thought that we could talk directly about each program here, because each and every program that we have here at EPU has volunteer opportunities here. So next slide. The first program that we're going to start with here is our Assessment Center for Children. EPU's parenting service team there at the Assessment Center is here to support, educate, inspire, and grow you into the parent and caregiver you would like to be, so your children can thrive in your care. And so the role of a volunteer or an intern at the Assessment Center is to provide support to staff with clerical tasks, case management, and mental health therapeutic activities for children. So here, if you are an individual that is going into social work, maybe you're thinking about becoming a clinician, maybe you're thinking about going into psychology, it's a great start, maybe just to see if this is something that you would be interested in doing. You do get to see how the office runs, how scheduling runs, how phone calls are taken in and then triaged out. So it's just wonderful. It's just a wonderful way to gain experience in this program that we have as a volunteer and intern. Next slide. Parent education and support. EPU's support and education resource specialists provide support to parents and caregivers of children with disabilities or challenges and help them to access services and resources. This is a really great program here that we offer at EPU. The role of the volunteer intern in the parent education and support service program is to provide support to staff with clerical office tasks, social media content, and promotion of workshops and other outreach events. Our parent education and support program is a great program because we service 12 counties with this program. And throughout that program, we do workshops for youth. These are for adults with disabilities age 14 to 26. We do online workshops as well that you can check out on Facebook. We do a whole bunch of resources and links that we give to our parents. And then we also have advocacy for IEPs and 504. So if you are anyone that is interested in going into a parent education and support background career, this would be a great opportunity for you to possibly volunteer or intern with us. Next slide. So we have our parenting services is next program. EPU's parenting service team is here to support, educate, inspire, and grow you into the parent and caregiver you would like to be, so your children can thrive in their care. And again, this role for volunteer interning is in parent services is to assist the parenting service staff with clerical office tasks. We have a clothes closet there. We have a diaper program, the food distribution. We have Saturday events that we do monthly, and with class preparations for parenting and children classes. So we do incredible year classes, we do parenting classes, we do anger management classes that are court appointed through our neighborhood resource centers, and those neighborhood resource centers are part of our parenting service program. We have 3 different locations for our NRCs. We have our Kings Canyon Avenue location. We also have our Willow Center in Clovis location, and we also have our Valley Dream Center off of Winery Avenue. So this is an absolute great way for interns and volunteers that are interested in social work, that are interested in education, parenting education, even child psychology. It's going to give you the on the ground accessibility to families that do have need. And it's a great way to be a part of the community. So if you're looking for community service hours, if you're looking to just get your feet wet and see what you think of parent services, this is a great opportunity for you. And I have to say that this program is in dire need of volunteer and interns. So if you are interested, please let me know. Next slide. So our EPIC program, Engage, Play, Inspire, Connect. This EPIC program is designed to provide families centered early intervention services to enhance the development of infants and toddlers with medical and/or developmental needs who qualify for early start services through Central Valley Regional Center. The role of a volunteer or intern in the EPIC program is to assist the early intervention assistants in providing developmentally appropriate activities and opportunities for children to socialize in their natural environments and out in the community. This is a great program. I can't say enough about this program. Our EPIC program is centered on child development and early child development intervention. So we do a lot of work with CVRC for our baby clinic, which is our 0 to 3 year intervention. We do assessments here, and we are in dire need of volunteers and interns to assist with our early interventionists. So they do play dates for their families. We have a play and learn group that we do here through Fresno Unified School District, and we are in constant need of volunteers for our play and learn groups that we have here. If you are anyone that is going into education, early child education, intervention, in any way, this is going to be a great opportunity for you as well. Next slide. We have our Child Development Center. Now, the Child Development Center is similar to early education or early childhood education because it is centered around younger age children, 18 to 36 months. So this Child Development Center is a state-funded early childhood program that is serving children ages 18 to 36 months in an inclusive environment. So basically, we're looking at like a child care facility center that we have here on our main campus. The role of a volunteer intern in the Child Development Center program is to provide developmental assistance to children and socialization groups under the direct supervision and guidance of EPU's professional staff. So those are our lead teachers, our master teachers, and they are there Monday through Friday, as early as 7 in the morning to 5 in the afternoon, taking care of these little guys. And we have kids that are enrolled in, then and they stay till they're 36 months, and then they graduate. And sometimes some kids will stay with us if they're needing more any early child intervention needs. And we're always looking for volunteers and helpers here that are do have CPR certification. We would have to have the first aid certification. That's something that we can always talk about too when you apply to be a volunteer here with us. But if you're someone that is interested in child development and working in a daycare facility or center, this is a great opportunity for you as well too, because you're really going to get to see what it looks like when you're working in a child care center. You know, how you schedule, how you run things, breaking other staff members, and even just aiding in cleaning and helping with the children that are in the center. Next slide. So our biggest volunteer opportunities are always going to be our fundraising events. We do have quite a few large events that we do every year. These are annually hosted events to promote donations and funds that go to support EPU's programs that serve our community. The role of the volunteer and fundraising events is to assist staff with the setup, service, and breakdown of the event. So our biggest event that we have coming up is going to be our Family Fun Day, which is September 1st. It's a Friday of 2023. And we're going to have that over at our Willow Center, one of the NRCs. And so we're definitely looking for volunteers to come and help us set up, break down, run the event. I do have a job form out there, so if you're interested in signing up, I can send that over to you. We have our gala coming up in November. We also do our Winter Wonderland event for kiddos, where we will provide presents for kids. We have Santa that comes every year. So it's a great opportunity if you're wanting to help out with that event too as well. Next slide. And then I just like finalize everything up. Since you've seen all the programs and any volunteer intern needs that we have, you can contact me. I have my information listed to the left-hand side. The QR code is going to take you directly to our website, and that's an application if you would like to apply as a volunteer or intern today. We welcome everyone. We work with Fresno Unified, so we do take high school students as long as you have a chaperone with you. If you are a minor, if you're 18 years and up, that's great too. We do ask that you fill out an application if you want to be a full-time volunteer with us, where you're going to come into our main facilities and you're going to work more than a few hours. And if you're looking for more of a one-time community volunteer event, then we do one-time events for volunteers where it's just going to be a liability release that you would sign. If you have any questions at all, we would love to hear from you. I myself would love to hear from you, and we're definitely here to answer any questions that you have. Thank you so much for this opportunity.
Thank you so much, Carrie. As somebody who was in a parent support group and had a child that graduated from the child development program, your organization is phenomenal. So I love it.
Thank you, Heather.
You're welcome. Okay, next up is Safe to School.
Hello, my name is Erin Obwald, and I'm the Executive Director of Safe to School. Thanks so much for having us. I'm going to do a program overview and show how people can get involved. Next slide. So we work with Fresno Unified School District, and we were established in 2010, but the Crossing Guard program has always been volunteers in Fresno. And of course, we promote school safety. It's a great opportunity for parents and community members to get involved. And what we do is provide safe passage for students to and from school. Next slide. So as many of you know, Fresno Unified is a large district, third largest in our state. And so here's a little bit of breakdown of the schools that we serve. There are some middle schools that are also K-8. And we are currently in over 30 schools, always looking to grow that to cover the whole district. Next slide. So we promote school safety in a few ways. First, we engage by training volunteer crossing guards. It can be parents, staff members, community members, high school students, and college students. We also submit city work orders and work directly with the Public Works Department to make sure the crosswalks are repainted, potholes, emergency vehicle curb markings, things like that are maintained, as well as work with the motor officers if there are ongoing or things that promote children from getting to school safely. We work with the SPCA on stray animals, and then we also partner with local organizations, for example, the Central Valley Justice Coalition, to provide human trafficking education and prevention to our volunteers. Next slide. So some of the benefits of our program is just that it's a way for people to be involved in children's lives. It's important for children to see their parents and community members involved in the school community. Also, as a volunteer, you get to know the school staff. So often it is a pathway to employment in Fresno Unified. And we provide ongoing safety and education training, as well as sharing just resources from local partner agencies. Next slide. So like I said, we provide the crossing guard training for all of our volunteers. We provide the safety equipment, vests, stop signs, rain gear, and then anything to the school sites that will help provide the safe passage like cones and crosswalk signs. Next slide. Our program details for volunteers, for our high school students, and then also our college students is that we would hope that they would be able to volunteer 2 to 10 shifts per week. And a shift is either before school, before an elementary school starts, about 7:15 in the morning to 8 o'clock. And then in the afternoon, whatever time that school gets out, anywhere between 2 and 3, usually the afternoon shift is only about 30 minutes. So students are able to get volunteer hours. We do a recognition of service through certificates at the semester. We ask that the students, if they're college students or high school students, participate with us for 1 full semester at least. We also have pins and graduation cords for the students who meet that criteria. We often provide letters of recommendation for them to use when they're applying for college or for jobs and things like that. And then we do an end of the year party to celebrate how our high school and college students have been just really pivotal in that safety aspect of our community. Next slide. So how you get started is you would just set up a phone interview. My information will be at the end of the presentation. You need your driver's license, California driver's license, scanned at a school site to make sure that you can be on campus. And then we schedule training. We do all of our trainings directly on the site, the campus you're going to be volunteering at. And then Fresno Unified will follow up with fingerprinting, and that is not a cost to the volunteer. We cover that cost. Next slide. Here's a few of the agencies that we partner with to not only provide the safety around the schools, but again, that ongoing safety education. Next slide. So here's my contact information. Our hours are 7:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. for our office. Monday through Friday, we're open all of the days that Fresno Unified is in session. You can contact me by email. Our website is there. Our application is on the website. It's in English and Spanish. And again, our focus is just to be a community development organization that helps build safer communities. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Erin. That was awesome. I love the crossing guard thing. I love it. Fresno Metro Ministries is next.
Hi, good morning, everyone. My name is Anna Smith. I am the coordinator here with Fresno Metro Ministry. It's nice to meet everyone this morning. Our address and contact information is on this current slide, and that is our current office hours and the best way to reach us for questions. And then I will leave my number and email in the chat as well. Next slide. All right, so we have several programs within Fresno Metro Ministry that we do. We have our Food to Share, Nutrition Education, and Outreach program, which we conduct various cooking classes for both families, kids, and adults. We do cooking demonstrations as outreach. And with that, we promote our CalFresh program, where when we go to these sites to do our cooking demos, we advertise for CalFresh, seeing if these individuals would like to sign up for food assistance through CalFresh and so forth. We have a community garden that is held Tuesday through Thursday and also Saturdays. So if you're interested in helping out in the garden, taking care of it, things like that. We have that program as well. We also have food to share recovery and delivery, where you're able to ride along with our various drivers to assist in food recovery and deliveries to other partner organizations for distributions throughout Fresno. We also have a Fresno Food Security Network program, which is inquiring to help with fruits and veggies that community members have donated from their personal gardens. We also have a gleaning program as well, where we go to different sites and help pick various fruits and veggies and distribute that throughout Fresno as well. Next slide. All right, so Cooking Matters, to go a little bit more in depth for our cooking classes. As I mentioned before, we offer cooking classes for families, meaning adults, parents who would like to learn more about how to cook healthier, better, utilizing different recipes and so forth. We host these classes at different community centers, churches, and so forth, whichever organizations throughout Fresno would like to host these classes. And if they have children that are at least 6 years old and up, they could actually participate with their parent and guardian to do these cooking classes to learn how to cook and use these recipes and materials and so forth together as a unit. If they're under that age, let's say 5 and under, we have a babysitting service program as well, where we have volunteers help watch children while the parents, adults are in the cooking class as well. So we do have a set curriculum, Cooking Matters, that we fulfill that contain different lessons of different recipes that we do throughout the class. So it's about 6 to 7 week program where they learn different recipes on how to cook better, healthier, using different ingredients and so forth. And then we also have the same similar program for kids. So right now we are at Fresno Unified Schools that were assigned to us, and we'll be there Monday through Friday teaching the kids how to utilize these recipes, how to make different recipes, utilizing these ingredients and so forth. In addition to that, as I mentioned before, going to cooking demonstrations. So typically we go to different churches and so forth where they partner with the California Food Bank, where they are doing those food distributions. And us at Fresno Metro Ministry, the staff there, we go on that site and we get the food list ahead of time to make an ingredient or a recipe or a sample with some of those ingredients that the food bank will be delivering at that particular site. So we go throughout Fresno as well, communicate with these churches or other organizations that's doing these food distributions through the California Food Bank, plan it out and everything, and actually pass out that recipe and the ingredients that we're going to be using for that particular day. So we are encouraging volunteers to come out, help us out with these recipes, doing the cooking on site, helping with our Cooking Matters classes, and so forth as well. Right. Next slide, please. All right. To talk further about our community gardens. So we have several gardens throughout Fresno that we have specific staffed at. So they meet Tuesday through Thursday and Saturday from 8 to 11. Volunteers can assist in community gardens with maintenance, care for our fruits, veggies, and various other produce to help that development of the community garden in Fresno. Next slide. All right, so our food to share, recovery, and delivery. So again, it's a ride-along program where you're able to go to various locations to help pick up the various foods and deliver it to other locations and so forth to help with our organization. So we have partner organizations that we work with to help give out food to various locations that we pick from schools, we pick up from different grocery stores, and so forth. Next slide. All right, so our Fresno Food Security Network, that is Ms. Tara Sweeney. She is our project manager for our Food Policy Council. In terms of what they do, they help in acquiring fruits and veggies by picking the fruits and veggies that community members have donated from their personal gardens. So this goes into the gleaning aspect of it. So we go on site, we pick these fruits and veggies, we do poundage, countage as well, and then we disperse that food to different locations. This will also be a great outreach opportunity to find more connections with these different organizations and locate food from the community to share to those in need. That is her QR code that she has up on the screen right now. So if you're interested in learning more about Food Security Network and or volunteering, Tara Sweeney is a contact person for that, and the QR code is there. Next slide. All right. So again, I will put my contact information in the chat if you are interested in terms of volunteering for Fresno Metro Ministry in any of our departments, whether it's gardening, our Cooking Matters, CalFresh program, or our Food Security Network. Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much. If you go ahead and put it in the chat, I'll add it onto a slide. So, all right. So the next one is Marjorie Mason Center.
All right, thank you so much for having me. So my name is Jennifer Lohr. I am the HR assistant / volunteer coordinator for the Marjorie Mason Center. And today I will be going over some information about our organization as well as volunteer opportunities. Can I get the next slide, please? So just a little bit about us. First off, Marjorie Mason Center is Fresno County's only dedicated provider of domestic violence shelter and support services, and that includes education for victims and youth. We've been in the Fresno community since 1979. So I would say we have been in the community for quite some time, but definitely a lot of services and support that we have from our community as well as services that we put out. Can I get the next slide, please? So services that we have in-house, we have safe houses both in Fresno and Clovis. We also have legal assistance. Disclaimer, we are not lawyers or attorneys, but we do have victim advocates who will help guide our clients through the court process. We also have a counseling team as well as crisis support, which includes a 24/7 hotline. Next slide. So what is the first step to volunteer? First off, I would say fill out a volunteer application. I will say volunteer applications are a great way for me to get to know a little bit about what you're looking for, as well as terms of availability. I know, especially with students, your availability is not going to be as available as a full-time employee. But again, we are open to having anybody contribute different hours at any time. And I did leave a QR code there so you can scan, as well as the website link so you can get a little bit more information. Opportunities, short-term and long-term. I'll discuss them in the next slide, please. So first off, short-term opportunities. I would say definitely students, this has applied a little bit better on their end just based on availability and scheduling. First off, we have special projects. So when I say special projects, I am referring to one-time event projects. So I've had individuals come in, I would say definitely as a group, never as a one-person individual. There is comfort in coming together and with multiple individuals at the same time. So we've had groups come in to help clean out our closet, our maintenance shed, clean, sanitize, as well as, I believe last year we even had an organization come in and contribute gifts during the holidays. So those are what I'm referring to by special projects. There are no restrictions to age or I would definitely work with availability on that one. It would definitely need to be planned beforehand. And there are logistics to be figured out, but as long as I have enough time and information, I can work with individuals on what those special projects can look like. Top 10, that is actually one of our fundraisers that is coming up specifically on October 18th at the Fresno Convention Center. I am looking for volunteers for the day before as well as the event, during the event. And again, this is something that has worked out a lot with students just because of availability. And again, there's not a lot of restriction to this. I would say if you are a minor and you are interested in volunteering, the only thing I would probably ask is for an adult to be there as supervision, just because of liability situations here. Tree of Hope, we have that as our donation drive during the holidays. And we have it's set up where in November, we do have a few days where we set up Christmas trees and decor in public settings. So last year we had it at the theaters as well as the malls. And so I've had volunteers come in and just set up little presentations of our center, the QR code so that the public can donate. And then in December, we have a series of 3 to 4 days where we would need the assistance of volunteers just to come in between set periods of time, 3 to 4 hours a day, and just accept gifts and organize where they are going by age, gender, etc. Next slide, please. Long-term opportunities. So our long-term opportunities are a little bit different. We actually have all of our slots filled out for the rest of this year, but we do have some selection for long-term wise next year starting in spring. And the reason for that is because our volunteers long-term wise, we are looking for at least 6 to 8 months. They can fall within the children's team, our clinical interns, which are fulfilling their practicum hours. So MFT, LPCC, MSWs. We also have volunteers on our safe house, including volunteers on our hotline, which are 24/7. That also includes our safe house, which is also 24/7. And so that would work out with availability, but long-term wise, we are looking for commitment and consistency. Just as a lot of our clients are coming from a place where they are walking around on eggshells, they're not sure what's going to happen next. We want to make sure that our volunteers are that consistent individual for them. So can I get next slide? I do want to add on that long-term volunteers, there are additional requirements, such as you have to have no history of DV in the last 2 years. And that is just keeping in consideration of re-traumatizing an individual. No felony charges for violent crimes. Again, volunteering is a minimum of 3 hours per week for 3 months. But again, we really are looking for a 6 to 8 month requirement. Unless they're doing it for a semester project, which is maybe like fall semester or spring. But again, just I've already filled out all of those slots for this upcoming semester. Again, additional requirements, background checks, drug and TB tests, including attending a 40-hour domestic violence training. And we do have an 8-hour BIP, which is a batterers intervention training, if they are interested more in the BIP side. So those are our volunteer requirements for long-term wise. And then can I get the next slide? If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. I would say I've had a lot of interactions with different volunteers, and usually if there are any hesitations or concerns, best way is just to reach out via email to me. We can schedule a time to have a conversation first. I usually am very transparent with volunteers about expectations and what the role will look like before I schedule a meeting with the manager, and then we get into all of the testing portion. All right, thank you so much.
Thank you so much. There we go, Valley Animal Center. So go ahead, Alicia, whenever you're ready.
Okay. Hello, my name is Alicia Sanchez, and I am the marketing manager at Valley Animal Center. Valley Animal Center is the largest private no-kill shelter for dogs and cats in the Central Valley, and our mission is to unite dogs and cats with loving people. However, we have a number of services, which includes our low-cost clinic. We have a membership-based dog park, a cat club. We offer dog training, pet therapy, and we just launched pet grooming this year. General volunteer opportunities, you can volunteer in any of the departments I just mentioned, and duties can range from cleaning to assisting with laundry, to socializing animals, walking dogs, and attending events. And then we do have this fall, we have our Halloween campaign. So it started in 2020, and we developed a hybrid fundraising campaign, which is the Halloween campaign, as a way to celebrate Halloween and raise additional funds for the animals in our care. It is a month-long campaign, and it is one of our marketing team's most creative efforts, as it involves finding unique ways to raise funds through events, elaborate storytelling, and filmmaking. We welcome students starting as early as this month to assist us with promoting this campaign, securing sponsorships, and designing promotional materials. And you can go to the next slide, please. We also attend, we invite students to help us attend events, which can range from, we have an annual Halloween photo booth, where people are welcome to come in dressed in costumes. And it's not just for humans, we make it available to pets as well. And we attend various outreach events. A lot of them, because it is Halloween, we attend trunk or treats, and you'll oversee an outreach booth, hand out candy, and talk about our services. And then, of course, we have our culmination event, which is our Halloween trunk or treat car show. And at this event, it does consist of a car show, a haunted house. We give away free candy. We have food and drink vendors. We have many shopping vendors, lots of activities such as a coloring contest, a costume contest, and we also have a huge raffle. This is one of the largest events of the year here at Valley Animal Center, and duties range from selling raffle tickets, overseeing some of the activities, helping with setup. We're transforming our grand lobby into a carnival creep show, so we'll need assistance with decorating that. And we will also need assistance with parking on the day of the event. Last year, we saw more than 3,000 people. So it has grown bigger and bigger every year. And we welcome students to assist us with this event. You can actually go to the next slide, sorry. Those interested in volunteering and the general volunteer opportunities can simply, they can head to our website at valleyanimal.org, and you can submit a volunteer form. For students who are interested in Halloween and helping with the Halloween campaign, they can go ahead and email me at Alicia, that's ALISIA @valleyanimal.org. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And I appreciate you being so patient.
Absolutely.
Okie dokie. Well, we are all done. You are free to go. And I appreciate your time and effort. All right. Thank you. That concludes our volunteer fair for the fall 2023. Have a great day.